Moin. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Mace, coming to you from Canada. I'm a rapper and producer. You can find my music on all streaming sites. If you wish, you just search up Macy, M-A-C-3-Y. I think it's on my YouTube homepage profile, if you're interested in checking that out. Or I'll put the link to it in the video. Yeah. Germany's finance minister reacts to Trump tariffs. Now, I was just talking about, on a prior video, that it's kind of a system of mutually assured destruction, or at least temporary mutually assured destruction of, or at least disruption, mutually assured disruption of economies, at least temporarily. And what's Trump's goal? Because these tariffs, they're not just on Germany. They're not just on Canada. They're not just on Mexico, right? They're on countries all around the world. Every country that the U.S. trades with. Trump's, I think, gambling on the might and buying power and market of the U.S. to supersede, and when it comes to negotiations, eventually have other countries, especially countries that can't necessarily, afford to do the same side of, or to go through the same amount of hardship as maybe the U.S. economy could. That all being said, like, you have stock markets crashing, in the U.S. stock market's just like tanking, right? At least on April 2nd and April 3rd, after the tariffs came into play. Let's see what Germany's finance minister, his response is and his comments on it. Obviously, the tariffs are going to hit Germany's auto industry incredibly hard, because Germany exports a lot of vehicles, right? A lot of vehicles, a lot of amazingly engineered, beautiful cars. So yeah, let's check this out, man. Hope everyone's doing good. Make sure to leave a comment down below for the algo and elgo. That made no sense, but that's why you watch, because I make no sense and I'm a strange person.
We're joined now by Germany's finance minister, Jörg Cookies. He's here.
What's his name? Jörg Cookies? The subtitle. Germany's finance minister, why cookies?
Minister Jörg Cookies. He's here in Berlin. Minister Cookies, thanks for being with us.
Wait, his
what
last
are you
name's Cookies?
expecting to hear from President
Thank
Trump
you for
today?
inviting me.
Thank you. What are you expecting to hear from the president?
We've seen all the announcements.
Did you see that little bit of awkwardness at the beginning? All of you who've done like Zoom, you've had Zoom meetings at work and things like that, it can always be a bit awkward. You'll feel like you're either talking over each other, there's a slight delay. But yeah, okay. Let's see what Jörg has to say.
He's here in Berlin. Minister Cookies, thanks for being with us. What are you expecting to hear from President Trump
Thank you for
today?
inviting me.
Thank you. What are you expecting to hear from the president?
Let's see. A little awkwardness.
We've seen all the announcements that substantial tariffs will be introduced today, but we have no further information as to the specifics. I had some conversations in Washington last week and got a bit of a sense, but we're waiting for details for tonight.
Yes, I understand you met with the U.S. Treasury Secretary and U.S. Trade Representative last
3 days
week,
ago.
and that you emphasized there that no one would benefit from an escalating trade conflict. The U.S. president seems impervious to that argument. Do you see any room to negotiate with the Trump administration?
Well, we are working under the assumption that the announcement today will offer opportunities to negotiate, and everyone I spoke.
Yeah, I like how he said that. Trump seemingly impervious to hearing about that argument about this going to hurt the American economy, and they're going to lose jobs, and there's going to be people that are angry, probably angry Americans. And we've talked about it a lot on this channel, that I think we all kind of sympathize with the people that Trump's just thrown under the bus. We don't really sympathize with the people that voted for Trump, but there's millions of great Americans, and the US is a great country. It's just with Trump leading it and kind of the direction of his populism and corpo fascism, basically leading us into, or corporate oligarchy, that America is obviously the one that is being criticized. So hopefully they can get back. It's just this level of Trumpism is so ingrained at this point that it's taken root in even the institutions, and there's 70, 80 million people that voted for this, right? So they voted for chaos. They voted for uncertainty. They voted for somebody who can flip on a dime, can do a 180 immediately. So that's going to cause shockwaves and just, the uncertainty around the world, uncertainty in markets, uncertainty in foreign policy, because you never know what Trump's going to do, right? And also his brand of governance is incredibly acerbic and just callous, right? So it's certainly, I think the media loves it because they get headlines every day, but
to negotiate, and everyone I spoke with in Washington last week said that in principle there is a willingness to continue the dialogue and to discuss. But of course, first of all, we'll have to evaluate what is announced today before starting negotiations and deciding on how to respond.
Of course. Trump's 25% tariff on foreign automobiles, however, is pretty clear already. That tariff also applies to parts, critically. That goes into effect this week. That will hit German car makers very hard. Minister Cookies, how damaging will this be to Germany's economy?
Well, it will also hit U.S. consumers very hard because, of course, as your report correctly illustrated, cars will get more expensive in the United States, including the cars produced by German automakers in the United States. And also, as your report said correctly, German automakers...
Because people really love German cars. Americans love German cars. Europeans, Germans do not like American cars. So, yeah, you're not going to see any Ford F-350s with black smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe driving around in Berlin. Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Manufacture much more cars in the United States as they import from Europe. So in that sense, the disproportional effect will actually be in the United States. But of course, it will also hit the competitiveness of the exporting side. But it hits the competitiveness of the exporting sides on both sides of the Atlantic. And that's what we continue to argue and continue to say, that this is a proposal that is actually disadvantageous to both sides.
But you are Germany's finance minister. You must have played through this scenario in pretty much detail. I'm just wondering what you're anticipating in terms of damage to the German economy from these tariffs.
Well, I mean, it's obviously very difficult to quantify that, but it will be a substantial impact, substantial adverse impact. But as I said, it's a substantial adverse impact for everyone affected.
Yeah, everyone's affected. And I made a song the other day. It was called Grateful. And I was kind of putting forth my sentiment of being grateful for what we have. I think a lot of us are really lucky that, like, the past 5 to 6 years, coming out of a global event in which, caused inflation, caused market strain, and caused economic uncertainty, caused, increasing amounts of mental health issues. There's so many things. Like, things are not necessarily easy for a lot of people right now. So economies around the world aren't necessarily booming. And it's this 4 years, I suppose we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just being grateful, I think, is important. I'll play my song at the end of the video.
And that's why we are so keenly arguing to negotiate and to think about how we should go about addressing the issues that the United States government is raising in a partnership kind of negotiation where the end result could actually be a net reduction of tariffs. To us in the document that is the basis for forming the new government, both sides actually propose a free trade area between the European Union and the United States. That takes care of all asymmetries because we would then reduce all tariffs to zero, and then there wouldn't be any discrimination by definition. So in our view, that would be the most advantageous and competitiveness enhancing measure for both sides.
Well, let's talk about where things stand right now. The EU charges 10% on U.S. car imports, whereas the U.S. tariff on EU imports was, at least previously, 2.5%. Quite a difference there. Trump's argument is essentially that this is not fair. Does he have a point?
Well, first of all, your argument is not complete because for certain types of vehicles, the United States actually charges 25% already. So as always, if you pick out individual components of the trade relationship, you will always find areas where the U.S. charges more and those where the European Union charges more. And that's why I'm saying the easiest way to...
the easiest way is to get rid of the tariffs across the board, and it creates more competitiveness and fairness, I suppose.
Assure balance and fairness is if everyone goes to zero, and then we have free trade and efficiency, economies of scale. We can think about standardization and mutual market access and many other things, so that there would be a much better way to actually reduce tariffs on both sides symmetrically, rather than now competing on who charges higher tariffs in which areas.
So do you see, with the incoming government that will have to negotiate with Trump, do you see a prospect for a free trade agreement with the United States, with this Trump administration? Is that realistic?
Well, I think that is more an aspirational goal. I think at the moment, as we're seeing the direction of travel on the U.S. side is certainly higher tariffs rather than lower. But the key is to send a signal that we are willing, up to including reducing tariffs all the way to zero, to discuss all options. Of course, if it's something in between, then that's also good as long as there's a fair and
you just don't want to. You don't want a trade war to endure, obviously. So as much as it can feel like doom and gloom with Trump in office, there has to be some semblance of political or aspirational optimism in countries, at least approaches to Trump and his administration and the things that he's doing. Like, you have to work with the guy. It's kind of like if you're at work and there's somebody you really don't like, you think they're a bit of a slime ball, but at the end of the day, you still have to work with them and get along with them. You take the higher road when it comes to your behavior and your style, but you still need to work with them. You need to speak with them. You can't just you can't have a nuclear option where it just escalates. You put a tariff, I put a tariff, I'm put a tariff on this, I'll put a tariff on that, I'll put a tariff on this. And then, Trump's rhetoric towards Canada has really pissed off a lot of Canadians, though, and it's a little bit different, which is with his mentioning of the 51st state and also his administration's posturing towards Greenland. Yeah, I don't.
And balanced solution that net decreases tariffs rather than increase them.
Minister Cookies, thank you very much for talking with us today. That was Germany's finance minister, your Cookies.
Many thanks for inviting me.
Your Cookies. Minister Cookies. I like it. All right. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment for the algo. I'm not going to play my song. Should I? I'll play maybe just the beginning. How about that? What do we do? Pull up Spotify? So yeah, if you have Spotify, Apple Music, I'm on there, man. You can find my stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty grateful for what I have, and gratitude can go a long way. Stoicism, just not necessarily full blown, like whatever your definition of stoicism, but just not allowing outside forces to negatively impact you, because yeah, I don't want to have a whole social commentary here. Here, I'll play the beginning of the song I'm talking about.
Lately, I'm just grateful. Lately, I'm just grateful. I got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. Cherish every single second, every single solitary second. You should respect them, treat them like importance. The important moments are not chance, but they are your circumstance. Of our lives, of our struggle, of our cries, of our lives, we must recognize that being untruthful is ultimately useless, not useful. No matter how cruel the tools try to treat you, they'll never defeat you. Everyone is equal regardless of how they treat you. Forgive and forget, it's hard, but don't fret. The moments of loneliness come to an end, so cherish your friends. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. You don't wanna look back and feel sad. We hope and we think that we're still glad. I know sometimes that you feel bad, but you made it through and I'm real glad. You're the best, I'm the best, we the best, and I'll never expect anything less. Fresh pressed and fresh dressed, and I believe in you. I can see the truth. You'll be free when you realize you're a beast and you're beautiful, so strong and dutiful. Face the words, face the world, embrace and chase the dreams that you wanna find. You just gotta search. Every single verse is worth it. This search is for thirst for authenticity, awesome liberty, purpose and true validity. Don't give up on your dreams. It's hard sometimes and we all wanna scream. Lean on me and I'll be everything that you need me to be. The strength and the courage and the way to flourish. We got this, me and you, me and you, me and us. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. Lately, I'm just grateful. I do got a plate full. Have fun and slightly playful. One day at a time, be graceful. I'm rising up this time, like a volcano in the sunshine, a tornado flowing with rhymes, cyclone, psycho, and white pie. Let's bring it back to some old school rap. Attack the track like Gucci rap. Yo, street blues with the jazz that just snap your kneecap. Breeze through brewing with the natural facts intact, with cats metaphorical maps for phrase contact. Abstract flow, I'm so rude as I go. Control this syntax like a nuclear plant. Homing in on its own like Simpson. Marginal rappers thrown into a vat like Joker. I'm walking tightrope, but I rise like a phoenix. Dark night sunrise when you're dreaming. Got the legend to keep track of the whack. Batman's back to solve Gotham's problems. Cold as a penguin in Antarctica. Lost in the ice, call me in. See no man, frozen, but thought in a different time. Like in the Neanderthal. Vino, bottle, not the glass.
Giving you guys a whole ass concert here at the end of the song. So, I just did a remix to this song.
Eyes wide open, I'm a pupil and a leader. Two sides to the game, gotta school them with the features. Taught to read the lines between just like a teacher. Preach to the choir, but the choir's full of creatures. They call me cold-blooded, but I warm them with the wisdom. Snake in the grass. Eyes wide open, I'm a pupil and a leader. Two sides to the game, gotta school them with the features. Taught to read the lines between just like a teacher. Preach to the choir, but the choir's full of creatures. They call me cold-blooded, but I'm one with the wisdom. Snake in the grass, yet I'm forged in addiction. Tongue-tied lies, they devise, could've split me. Venom in the rhythm, they slither, but they miss me. Meaning when I'm talking like a man.
Every bar's a portal, bring the truth a little near. Got 'em looking twice like they see it in the rear. In the maze of the rhyme, yet the past crystal clear. Don't let the meaning when I'm talking like a man. Every bar's a portal, bring the truth a little near. Lines in my palms, read the destiny. I'm charting sharp with the blade. I am just a dart like the party. They target every word, but it's deeper than the surface. This photo that you're seeing on screen here is in Desolation Sound, right near where I am. My family had a fishing lodge, and this is the photo is looking out from the fishing lodge. Absolutely beautiful. If you guys ever get to Canada, go up in Desolation Sound in any time of year, really. This would have been in the summer, but absolutely exquisite. My family did sell it, so we don't have it anymore, but miss that place. All right, auf Wiedersehen.